Hello, everybody. It's my privilege to introduce to you, all the way from the south side of Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my Theo, your brother, the Southside Unicorn.
Hey, it's Ken White, and it is Friday, which means it's Funked Up Fridays. But it's also, as you know, Friday the 13th, better known as a day for the triskaidekaphobia to be kicking in. So, I used to have a issue with Friday the 13th because for a while in my life, it seemed like every Friday the 13th, stuff was popping off. There was something that was always going down, and I was like, man, I'm not even going out of my house, Now, we're going to touch on that a little bit, about Friday the 13th. But I also want to, again, extend my sympathies and condolences to Larry Elder because, as he said on his show even today, Friday the 13th is bothering him a little bit, and understandably why. Him and his brother would do a show on Fridays on his show. And sadly, on a Friday the 13th in October, his brother passed away unexpectedly. So there are times when you can look at this date and go, not feeling it. So much love, respect, condolences, and sympathies to Larry Elder. Now, have you ever had a problem with Friday the 13th? If you have, go ahead and share your story at Ken White 444 on Twitter, at Ken White 444. I always just give out the Twitter handle because, trust me, once you get there, it's easy to get to any other page that's connected to me. So we just start from there. If you have a Friday the 13th story that you'd like to share, just go ahead and put it out there so we can kick it around and talk about it. And who knows, somebody else may have had the same problems, same issues, with it. Speaking of people having problems and issues with Friday the 13th, our beloved President Donald J. Trump hit a minor road bump today. I mean, really, it's not like we didn't expect it, right? They abruptly stopped last night after 13 hours, could have went a few more minutes and just held the vote. But I think, that weird looking dude, now I don't like talking about people's bodies too much because, we all come here in the bodies that we come in. But Nadler, damn, And to me, it seemed like in his head, he automatically got the idea, ooh, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. That'll really make for some historic headlines in the years to come. We're going to adjourn now. We're going to adjourn. We'll come back tomorrow morning. And we knew what the vote was going to be. Come on, they got the majority. And sadly, they're abusing the majority that they have. That's called abuse of power, in case you didn't know. And we knew how it was going to go. Yay, 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 Democrats. Republicans, nay. So stop messing with us. Because, see, it's right there, Nadler. It's right there, Nasty Pelosi. It's right there, Adam Schiff, that you're losing. You're beating yourself. Because somewhere in your ancient minds, you are starting to believe or think that you're going to wear us down, that you're going to wear down the president. Don't you understand this is a supernatural situation we're in right now? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're that blinded to it. Maybe what I'm saying is not for you all. Maybe it's for the listeners and the young Democrats and the young liberals and all of that. Maybe it's for you. Because don't you see what's at play here? Scripture says we war not in the natural, but in the principalities. So for these people to believe that they're going to wear the president down, that they're going to wear us down, don't you know every time I listen to you guys, every time I have to deal with your mess, I go run in my war closet and I get my prayer on. I get my prayer on before the show. I get my prayer on during the show. I get my prayer on after the show. And anytime I deal with you. So, to coin a phrase from that awful wretch, Hillary Clinton, I's no ways near as tired. And neither are my brothers and sisters. Neither is the President of the United States. You know, they say the essence of the man shall be unabated when the Holy Spirit touches you. When you're anointed. When you have a mission and a calling. You can do all you want. And it ain't going to stop nothing. We're going to get you in November. November 2020. We're going to give you a taste of what's going on over there in Great Britain right now. Because it seems like they say, and well, it's not seem like, it's true. The British counterpart to our President Donald J. Trump won his election in a landslide. Beat them so bad, even they couldn't try to lie and say, it's too close to call. Somebody cheated. Like you guys are planning to try to do. But we got a plan for you too. And it's called a landslide. There won't be no room for you to cheat. Because we're going to be manning the polls. We're going to become poll supervisors. We're watching this one real close. And I hope that we can get some legislation put into place before the election. That if anybody is caught frauding the election, oh, heavy penalty. Heavy penalty because you're messing with the sovereignty of the United States of America. And we can't have it no more. I think, when you guys did your little, he's impeached thing today, that was it. And I'm going to use the word, I don't know, I guess they'll bleep it out or whatever, but you pissed us off. You ain't scaring us. You're not wearing us down. You're not going to rule us. All you did was piss us off because you had no business doing that. They say it's only really happened 3 times in the history of the United States, 240 plus year history, which means if you take into consideration we had 45 presidents and only 3 of them have had to deal with this mess, maybe 4, then you're talking a number way less than 10%. You're talking like 8.75%. That means it's got to be something pretty bad for you to be breaking out an impeachment. We don't like to do it. It's like the nuclear option that your boy Harry Reid busted out. When Harry Reid bust out with the nuclear option, look what happened to the Democrats. Because like Maxine Waters said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Don't you know you playing yourselves out? There's an old saying, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. But I think it might be a little bit too late for the Democrat Party, for the leftists, for the fascists, for the socialists, for all of Soros's little zombies that are out there sucking up his dollars, thinking that you're doing something great. It might be a little bit too late for you. Because you see, they're already talking about basically vacating everything you do. They're gonna not exonerate, which is your favorite word to try to keep the shade over somebody. They're gonna just acquit him. They're going to acquit the president and say, you know what, this was a non-starter and we ain't even starting. So I don't know how it's going to really play out, but I got a suspicion that when it hits the Senate, they're going to mess around with it a little bit. Make it look all proper and everything. But I can't help but think that it won't last a day. I mean, what do you all think? Do you think it's going to last a day? Do you think that when the Senate gets it, it's going to be like what the Democrats have done? They have dragged this out and dragged this out. I was so tired of hearing about impeachment, article of impeachment and all this. I got so tired of it. And they were doing it on purpose. The media, the Democrats, we're going to draw up the articles of impeachment so they can sit around and flip their gums. so they can sit around and talk about all the things that are bothering them about the president. Oh, he's grabbed people in the pee. Oh, he made fun of handicapped people. Woo, 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 woo. And we all know that it's not true. None of what they're using as a basis. Well, here's the funny part. None of what they're using as a basis to hate this man is real. That means that their hatred is coming from someplace else. And all these actions is an excuse to hate. Do they hate him because of their job? Oh, they didn't have all the power. We got kicked out of mainstream power. No, because it's cyclical. We know that. Eventually, a Democrat is going to be back in office, and that's just the truth, Baby Ruth. So what is it that makes people look at the same words we're looking at and don't see it the same? What is it that makes a person see 2 and 2, and instead of, adding them together, they want to multiply them, they want to subtract them, they want to do anything but what the factor says about it, the integer, what it says. You want to take the 2 and the 2 and add them together and get your 4, but not the Democrats. They see a 2 and a 2, and one is Russia and the other one is Ukraine. This is madness in a bottle, ladies and gentlemen. This is more than we should have to put up with during the holiday season. I mean, you talk about the Grinch who stole Christmas. These people done lost their damn minds. Here we are, 10 days away from Christmas? And I don't know if any of us are going to get a moment's peace. I think maybe even that's part of the plan. Is they're going to take our, I guess you would call it a Judeo-Christian holiday season and make it mean nothing. They're going to go so secular, Well, we've drawn up the articles, and the Democrats aren't necessarily going to pass it over. Who says they're going to do a vote on Monday? Who says it? They may go, well, we're going to have to enter this into debate, and they're going to drag it out a week. Now it's December 18th. Then they're going to come back that next Monday, or what have you, and then do a vote, and leave us with this nasty poo-poo stank about them impeaching the president. But you know what? They started it on Friday the 13th, and I think the bad luck will ultimately end up on them, and they'll never forget this day. We'll be right back after these messages.
She passed by in a black Mercedes. Damn, she fine. The way her body's moving. I popped the Perrier Jouet, trying to get the two-way cracking. Me and you back in the back of the back room, acting like you can't come back soon enough to do it rough. Cause you a bluff, but I'm a winner. I can hold, watch your pretty legs fold.
Hi, Joy Villa here, reminding you to tune in to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend Ken.
We apologize. We love China. We love playing there. I know for both of us individually, we go there once or twice a year. They show us the most support and love. So we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything they're about, and we appreciate the support that they give us individually and as an organization. So we love them. We love China. We love playing there. I know for both of us individually, we go there once or twice a year. They show us the most support and love. So we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything they're about. They show us the most support and love. So we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything they're about. They show us the most support and love. So we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything they're about. They show us the most support and love. So they show us the most support and love. So they show us the most support and love. So they show us the most support and love. So
Hey, it's Ken White. We're back for the second segment of Funked Up Friday. Hey, you remember that song from the Weather Girls called It's Raining Men? It's raining men, hallelujah, whatever. I don't want to sing it too much, but you know the song I'm talking about. Yo, check this out. It seems like up in Northern California, not all the men were raining, but certain parts of the men was raining, if you know what I'm saying. The part that is, how they say you think with the big one and then you think with the little one. Well, it seems like it was raining the little ones all over the beach. Now, I know you saying, Kenny, come on. What are you talking about, man? Get real. Well, yeah, here it is. They call them the penis fish, but they're really worms. But if you could see the picture, which you can, all you have to do is go over to, let's see here. Get yourself over to, I'm trying to find it. It just moved away from me. I wanted to share it with you. It is a magazine. Yeah, I'm taking my time because I don't want to mess this up. The Bay Nature Magazine. Get yourself over to the Bay Nature Magazine online, and you'll be able to see them for yourself. Their clinical name, scientific name, is the fat innkeeper worms, but they're better known as the penis fish. Because if you see the picture, it ain't hard to understand why they named these little worms the penis fish. In an article by Nature Magazine explained that the pulsating 10-inch worms may have been washed up by a strong storm that distributed sediments into the intertidal zone. I got it right this time. Some of these words be messing with me. Innkeeper worms, or uric or uricitis, are also found in the Elkholm Slough Nature Reserves on Monterey Bay, California. It lives in a U-shaped tunnel or burrow and has a unique method of eating. It secretes a slime net, which serves to trap small food particles. The worm circulates water through the tunnels, trapping the food in the slime. When the mucus net becomes loaded with food, the entire net with its burden of food is swallowed by the worm. Yeah, the penis worm. So you might want to watch where you're walking if you're up north, near the beaches, because it's raining men, sort of. Yeah. I think that's a perfect point to segue into the next story, which is, pardon me. It's like they're trying to do so much. When I was growing up, and when I say they, I'm talking about the Democrat Party. When I was growing up, on the bus, downtown or whatever, you'd always see these cats. They had 3 cards or a couple bottle caps with a P underneath, and they called it 3-card Monty, And, they always running their hustle. And they could move the caps around so fast or move the cards around so fast that you really couldn't keep up. And, very often you lost your money because you couldn't keep up. You couldn't keep track. You thought you did. You thought you saw all the movements, but you didn't. And so homie walked away with your money, and you better not get mad. You know what I mean? That's sort of like what the Democrats are doing to us right now. They got us with all this impeachment stuff, this and that, and, now Pelosi wants to sign the USMCA deal with a bunch of changes in it that we really don't like. All this stuff, all this busy work. Moving all the cards, moving the caps with the little P under the knee, the cap. Now, what I said all of that to say this, because in this particular story, and I'm not talking about, those penis fish up north on the beach, but I am talking about a penis fish that's been sliding around all over the place, wreaking havoc. And that penis fish is William Jefferson Clinton. Yeah, Pimp Daddy. The man that put his hands on a person. I had the privilege of interviewing her, and I've now come to be able to call her a friend. But he put his hands. I'm not even gonna mention her name right now because I don't think it should. Maybe she wouldn't. I don't think she would. Juanita Broaddrick. Pimp Daddy Clinton did her dirty. If you go by her testimony, he should have had handcuffs on him and definitely done some jail time. But no, not this guy. And that's why we got all this 3-car Monty going on too, y'all. Because see, let's not forget, even though Epstein is dead and he didn't kill himself, there are still trials going on, investigations going on, but they hit the back page. They hit the 30-second, no, I don't even think they hit the 30-second clock with some of these mainstream media places. The ones that get mad when President Donald J. Trump calls them fake media, fake news, but yet they didn't report this too loudly. Homegirl sitting underneath one of them caps. Homegirl is the magic card in 3-Car Monty because she said that on the Lolita Express, that plane where President William Jefferson Clinton dodged his own bodyguards. I mean, come on, he would ditch them sometimes. There's a manifest that shows that William Jefferson Clinton was on the Lolita Express like 60 times. What has you so enamored that you would get on a plane that many times? The plane, boss. What would have you get on a plane that many times, ditch your bodyguards, and go hang out with some known pedophiles? Ain't no upright, decent man doing that. An upright, decent man, if he even dreamed that he was hanging around a bunch of freaky deakies, oh, he up out of there. Hell, he wouldn't even let his plane fly over Lolita Island. You feeling me? So while we got all this impeachment stuff going on, guess what, y'all? One of the girls that ain't dead, thank the Lord, she made her affidavit today, and she said he was such a VIP that Pimp Daddy Clinton, President William Jefferson Clinton, had his own seat. It was a seat nobody else could sit in. But she also went on to say he sat in that seat a lot of times. Now we got people all across the country dealing with the hashtag #MeToo situations and abuse of power when it comes to sexual inappropriate behavior. Hell, I think Adam Schiff even caught a case. So when it comes to trying to determine if somebody did something, there's a rubrics. There's like an Occam's razor, the simplest answer tends to be the right one. Well, you can go a little bit further with that too if you like. You can say, eliminate the impossible, and no matter how improbable, whatever remains is the truth. Pimp Daddy Clinton had no problem messing with Monica Lewinsky. How much younger than he was she? She was almost a baby herself. And he had no problem using his power and influence over her. Cigars and blue dresses and interludes, in the Oval Office. Messing with ovaries in the Oval Office, Put his hands on Juanita Broaddrick, and bruised that woman up and assaulted her sexually. This man has a high preponderance of being a pedophile. You hanging out with known pedophiles. You're going to the abode of known pedophiles and ain't got no problem with it. You are a former president of the United States of America, and yet you ditch your bodyguards. When they go into the estate of the now deceased Jeffrey Epstein, who did not kill himself, there's a picture of you up on the wall, blue dress and all. You're mocking the very situation that got you, ironically, impeached. How crazy, how cray-cray must you be to be all right with your homie having a picture of you in a woman's dress, blue, sitting in a chair, up on his wall, front and center as people walk in. Now, you're all billionaires. How my boy Bernie Sanders said, millionaires and billionaires. You know, it's an exclusive club, so I'm imagining not too many people saw it. But the people that saw it, you know, the oligarchs, you know, you guys who think you own and run the world, you know, the ones that for a minute when people was talking Pizzagate, I was like, no, y'all crazy. That's too far-fetched for me. And now, here we are, looking at pizzas all over the place. That almost got by us until yours truly, Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, put it out there. That's right. Homegirl fingered him for being on that plane on times when it got buck wild on that island. She said the orgies was real. So what? My man William Jefferson Clinton, a.k.a. Pimp Daddy, oh, he just went and he stayed on the plane, see? He didn't get off the plane and go inside one of the bungalows. Nah. You know, just like he said he didn't in hell. Just like he said, I did not touch that girl. It's over. This man's a pedophile. I said it. That's right. There's enough evidence there for me that I'm good with that. But you didn't hear nothing about that. All you saw the Democrats doing was walking around with their smoke machines and mirrors all over the place. If it ain't Nancy Pelosi with a mirror, it's Nadler with a smoke machine. And where in the world is Adam Schiff? Ain't nobody heard from him no more. Because see, with the exposure of the IG report, which we're going to talk about in the next segment, oh, it's getting really real. And they still lying. They still moving the cards in the cup, y'all. They playing a game of 3-card Monte. But you know what we're going to do to them in November? We ain't going to try to pick which, cap the P is under or which one is the right card. We just going to snatch all of it up and prove that they got the damn ball under their hand or that the card was in their pocket. We'll be right back after these messages.
My name is Toot Sweet, and I'm New York City's original artist singing for the cause of freedom. I've spent the last 10 years of my life documenting history through my music. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting adversity and learn more lessons in life than you're learning any. And when I'm in need of a dose of reality to escape the liberal land of make-believe, I tune in to the Southside Unicorn, where the truth is as solid as New York City concrete. My name is Toot Sweet, and you're listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn, and this party is just getting started.
And Moby Dick was the whale.
Yes.
Well, people talk about, leading up to this, people been talking about how there's so many candidates on stage. It's like kind of a combination of speed dating and a first date. This is the first debate. Who gets, do you think, by the Democratic voters, who gets asked back for a second date here?
I think Elizabeth Warren gets asked back.
I think so. I think she knocked it out of the park.
I think she knocked it out of the park. I think Julian Castro did a phenomenal job.
Well, your Spanish accent is really good in saying his name. You sound
really
like Beto
good.
O'Rourke right there. Really.
Hey, it's Ken White. We're back in the third segment of Funked Up Fridays. And, I love my bumpers. They're really cool. And I'm thinking about what AOC said, Here she is, Julian Castro, Elizabeth Warren, You know, she's sitting there saying that these people did an ace job, but yet she's backing Bernie Sanders. I guess we don't have to worry about it when we recognize that she was endorsing the opposing party in Great Britain, and homeboy got his pants handed to him. I mean, he's somewhere in trauma. So, you know, her batting average for picking people ain't so good. We don't have to worry about it. But, you know, I just want people to take a look at that. This is how wrapped up they got our kids with the 3 little cups in the P. This is how wrapped up they got our kids with the 3 cards on the Monty. On a show, she'll say, oh, these people did great. But then in the next breath, she's endorsing Bernie Sanders. Now, didn't she just get it all 3 ways? Didn't she have all 3 cups in her hand? Didn't she have all 3 cards? Just moving them around real quick. And our kids in there going, yay, yay. We have got to save our young people. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be like, do you remember back in the day when they had the Hare Krishners and whatnot? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And you know, they were selling the flowers at the airport and all that stuff. And people, families, moms and dads would hire like kidnappers to literally throw their kid in a van, drive them away, and they had to watch them for like a month go through this deconditioning situation because they were truly brainwashed. You know, he's my most excellent leader. I will do anything for him. You think that stuff's a joke? No, they've expanded it. Inside the halls of these colleges, inside the high schools, inside the grade schools, inside of the daycare. We have got to save our children because that's the greatest resource we have. Now, real quick, just want to talk about this young couple, you know, beautiful couple, got married, which in this day and age is nice and beautiful because not a lot of people are getting married anymore. And you would say to yourself, you know, he's got the traditional tuxedo on. She's got the traditional white flowing gown. You know, every woman picks out her own wedding dress. They're all white, some are different colors, of course, but I'm talking about the white ones. And they just come adorned in different ways, you know. And this couple spent $25,000 getting hitched. And it seems like it was an absolute waste of money. Want to know why? You know I'm going to tell you why. I got this story out of BuzzFeed. And what it looks like is these young people went and got married at the Boone Hall Plantation. That's right. I didn't say Candyland. The Boone Hall Plantation. It had a bloody history. It was bad. But it's been refurbished to be like some type of a wedding venue. And they went there, and that's where they had their wedding. You know, so what does the bride say after they got, you know, chewed out and handled for having their wedding there? She says, the reality is that I am a white female who grew up middle class. And so I do have those white privilege goggles on, the bride said. And I try to always be super mindful of other people's situations. But in this situation, I wasn't. Now, I'm kind of torn. Yes, it is a form of plantation. It still exists as a built-up structure. And it's been many years since it was used for the purposes that it was. I stand corrected. I'm going to ask you all, was she wrong for having her wedding there? I mean, let me read on a little bit. I've always wanted a plantation wedding, Helms, who is white, told BuzzFeed. I always dreamed of getting married at Boone Hall just because of the location and the history. Everything about Boone Hall is beautiful. That's her quote. Boone Hall is a thriving wedding venue, hosting an average of 130 weddings a year. Owner Willie McRae told BuzzFeed News, woman getting married, a website detailing the cost of the wedding at different venues. The estimate cost is somewhere around $30,000. The plantation, however, plays a role in the darkest period of American history. Boone Hall was built on the backs of black slaves who harvested cotton and pecans and produced bricks on its grounds. This heritage is currently documented on the plantation's grounds in exhibits at 9 of the original property's slave cabins. Today, large oak trees line either side of the road that leads to Boone Hall's main house and neat sprawling grounds. It's a working farm and a popular tourist attraction in South Carolina, fielding about 200,000 visitors annually, said McGray, whose family has owned the property since 1955. Now, if it was illegal, don't you think that, they would have closed it down by now? South Carolina would have, as I call it, South Kakalaki. South Kakalaki would have had to say something. They can't just let it stay up there. So this is a quandrum. I mean, or should I say a conundrum? Because my mind turns to these statements being made, not necessarily statements of yours truly, but just statements that people would make. Somebody out there is saying, would you have a wedding at Auschwitz? Somebody said, if you were one of those people that did say it, you know what to do. At Kim White, 4444. Tell me your opinion about it. Is she wrong for having her wedding there? It's popular tourist attraction. Now, I will be honest. The cabins with all the slave memorabilia in it, that's kind of eerie. That's kind of Auschwitzious, if that is such a word. It's Auschwitzious. I don't know. Are we going too far with trying to protect, what we believe to be the rights of blacks? Because, and I say believe to be, because, okay, you got Copernic out there trying to say he's standing up for black folks and all this stuff. And you got a commentator who simply made a basic commentation about the color of a man's skin matching or being very, close to blending to the color of the football, and said that could be a problem as to why people can't see when he's changing hands and making fast plays. And he was promptly suspended. And yet, we still have race issues that could easily be fixed if the Democrat Party would just act right. And what I mean by act right? All right, we discussed this plantation, talked a little bit about the little cray-cray on the football, but did you know that colleges were having these diverse BDS people going to different conventions and all of that? They even had a rapper come from Israel who was talking about hating on the Jews, doing all kind of crazy stuff, and saying, I want you to raise the roof, with your hatred for Jews. And somebody figured it out and said, wait a minute, that convention was held with government money. These people are being anti-Semitic with government money. So we got to stop this. We got to go to the government, tell them what these colleges are doing, and see if we can at least stop us from paying for their hatred. Well, guess what, y'all? For years, the Democrat Party refused to stop paying these colleges the money, even though they're doing the BDS, even though they got Palestinians and whatnot that they're paying to come and hate on Jews. The Democrats didn't stop it. Steady rolling, steady going. And especially in the last 2 years. Now, what's so glaring about that, you say? They have been calling President Donald J. Trump an anti-Semite since he hit the door. That he hates the Jews, that, he's, Nazi and white supremacist, alt-right and all these, every term they could possibly think of to call this man, they've done it. And at the same time, the true anti-Semites, and I hate to say it, but when it comes to Palestinians, come on, need I say more? And the Democrats would not make the legislation to get that money, to claw that money back and at least not fund the BDS and the hatred. But guess what? Guess what? Even, is it today? Yeah, I believe it was today. President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order, because every now and then you got to bust one out, especially with these Democrats in office. He signed an executive order that said, we're taking the money back, we're clawing it back, you're not going to get no more money because you guys are a bunch of haters, you're a bunch of Jew haters, Jewish people haters, all this stuff. Who put the bite on the real Jewish haters? President Donald J. Trump. We have really got to start getting this out to our young people. This is how we stop them from selling flowers in the airport, if you know what I mean. They're being brainwashed. They're being lied to. They're our greatest resource. Get this show out there to young people. Share, like, retweet, do what you got to do. And then let them check it out for themselves. I mean, granted, they're going to have an epiphany. It could be brain-breaking. It could be life-changing. But this is the only way we're going to be able to fix our country. I don't understand the Democrats. I've given up trying to understand them. What they did today, I think you could make a good case that Democrats are virtually domestic enemies at this point. And I know that's kind of risky talk, but these people are tearing our country apart. They're harming our children. They're choking the future out of us. Just a thought. My man up north that just got reelected, now all of a sudden, he's down with not eating bacon and all that. I think he's going to adopt the Muslim faith or something like that. But he's going to open his borders wide open. And that's going to make room for a whole bunch of radical Muslims. So now we're going to have radical Islam to our north and a Mexican corrupt government with porous borders to our west and south. Oh, it's time to build a wall. It's time to get Democrats out of power. It's time for us to look each other in the face and say, I pledge to you my fortune and my life, and let's begin to protect ourselves. If not, when America falls, it's going to be so fast, you won't even know what happened. Maybe it's happened already. Who knows? We'll be right back after these messages. Go nowhere.
Sorry, I cannot hear you. I'm kind of busy.
The Southside Unicorn Show is my favorite. Why? Because host Ken White tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, no matter how controversial. I love it.
Yes, sir.
What's your name, boy?
Mayo. Zach Mayo, sir.
How did you slip into this program? I didn't know the Navy was so hard up.
You got an injury there, Mayo? Not exactly, sir.
Hey, this is really wonderful work. Where'd you get this, Mayo?
Subic Base, Philippines, sir.
Ought to recognize the work. Be proud of them wings. They're the only ones you're gonna leave here with. Mayonnaise.
Hey, it's Ken White, and this is the Southside Unicorn Show, Funked Up Fridays, 4th segment. Man, it goes so fast. We're going to have to look into doing like a 2-hour show is what we're going to have to do here, because there's not enough time to get all of the stuff out there, that I'm trying to relate to you, because there's so much going on. Now, I like to think that we are that cool alternative, to just the push out of the information, blah, 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 blah. We got a little bit of a relax going on here. And in this last segment, okay, fine. Go get it. get your drink. You know what I'm talking about. It can be mint julep tea. It can be, hot chocolate. It can even be Kool-Aid. I would admonish you not to mess with the Kool-Aid, but sip it if you must.
Ich tak so tas gos vaskral bei ti.
Ejim tafe deja I. Ich tak so tas gos vaskral bei ti. En pa jaj la mok jaj push. Jaj keles molor mi hoch.
Haha, that's the Klingon drinking song. Every now and then it'll pop out, especially when I got a little something in my hand. So, here's to you. Cheers. Bottoms up. Woo! Okay, so now, where were we? Oh, yeah, that's right. In the 4th segment of the Southside Unicorn Show, of course. Now, we could continue to talk about the impeachment, penis fish, Bill Clinton, people getting married at plantations. We could do all of that if we wanted to. But I think I want to at least play the hot mic from Amy Robichaud so you can, see. There are people. It's time for people to start going to jail, y'all. Let's just take a listen to what Amy had to say about the Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein situation, who did not kill himself. Let's just take a listen. Just listen with me.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
Now, when you hear journalists on hot mics saying all that, you got young ladies who are saying, oh yeah, there was a seat reserved for William Jefferson Clinton, Pimp Daddy Automatic. Man, we are not supposed to be wasting our time on impeachment over phone calls that were virtually nothing. But it sure has our attention trying to find that little ball underneath the cup now, doesn't it? Sure has us looking at those cards in Schumer's, in Adam Schiff's hands, trying to see which one is the jack. Which one is the jack? They got us looking. We got to stop playing their game. Stop looking for the little white ball under the cap. Stop looking for the jack in his hand. Smack the cards away. Smack the little cap and the balls away. We don't care about that no more. We're going out for some real live justice. It's time for us to take over. It's time for us to take over and start doing this thing right. Because all this month and probably all of next month, they got us doing what? Looking at impeachment and looking at that. Hey, have you heard any part of the Inspector General's report at all? I know I have. The Inspector General's report is abysmal, even though Horowitz is horrible. Horowitz is bending himself like a pretzel, trying not to implicate the FBI. The fake bogus investigators. Yeah, that's right, I call them that. Fake bogus investigators. Because, we're all sitting there talking about, the FBI, the regular ground agent is really the bomb and woo, woo, woo. Well, you know what? I saw the gauntlet with, Clint Eastwood in it. I saw how they didn't believe that he was a worthy enough cop. I saw how upset he got when he realized that there were dirty cops inside his department. Now, granted, it's a movie. You know how I do it on the Southside Unicorn Show. We just having fun. But I'm making a point. I'm sure you're getting the point. Where are all these honorable FBI agents that then had enough of their honorable institution being tarnished and sullied? Or are they the same guys that like kicking in doors at 6 a.m. when their boss tell them to? The fake, bogus investigators. These are the things and the issues that we really should be looking at. Because when you really, settle down in your spirit man, your spirit woman, and ask this question, the Democrats know that impeachment ain't going nowhere. It goes nowhere. And it's probably going to basically be acquitted, which means it never even existed. It's like an annulment to a marriage. It never even existed. And yet they threaten us with, we're just going to do it again. Why? Because it's 3-card Monte. That's why. Because the little ball is under the cup and we'll go to looking. We gotta break our own habits, ladies and gentlemen, and get away from that stuff. It's just like the way they did with his son. That was the most incredible insult I've ever heard. When that law professor evoked Barron Trump's name in the hearings.
So while the president can name his son Barron, he can't make him a Baron.
Thank you. While the president can name his son Baron, he can't make him a Baron. So while the president can name his son Baron, he can't make him a Baron. So while the president can name his son Baron, he can't make him a Baron.
Just bad. You know what I mean? They are deluging us with their yuck. The Democrats are spewing yuck on us. And we just have to be strong enough to shake it off. You know what? My man Toot Sweet is a great inspirational source. He has beautiful music. I think we're going to play one of his songs and shake off the yuck. Stick your arms out, everybody, and take a listen to a Toot Sweet song. This one's called One Wish.
One wish, one star. What will you wish for?
You gotta toughen up. And when people are able to strap you to the existence of being a victim, when people sell you that being a victim is a brand that is cool, they can control you. And that's what we see happening in so many different communities. You can be gay and not be a victim. You can be black and not be a victim. What we're seeing spreading like wildfire is a victor mentality. The idea that you can overcome anything that you've lived through.
One wish, one star. Two wish.
Listen to the words of a king.
What will you wish for?
Don't make me out a victim, I'm victorious.
If you had one wish, one star. Two wish.
Listen to a king when he sings.
What will you wish for?
I'm just a man on the outside looking in, and what I've seen these last 30 years been troubling. Nothing but deceit, manipulation, so much pain and devastation by committing the original sin. The label devil didn't listen to the prophet sing. So let me take you back to the beginning. In the words of a king, you judge a man by the content of his character, not by his race, creed, or color of skin. Those were the words of a king.
One wish, one star. Two wish.
Listen to the words of a king.
What will you wish for? What will you wish for?
Don't make me out a victim, I'm victorious. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting adversity and learn more lessons in life than you'll learn in any university. Inspired by the gospel that's written in stone inside of me, to trust and confide in my conscience that gives a guide me to always practice what you preach, never compromise the principles. So much knowledge that you're vicious, remember that you're invincible.
One wish, one star.
Don't make me out a victim, I'm victorious.
One wish, one star.
Yeah, listen to a king, sing it to me, girl.
If you had one star or wish, tell me what you'd do with it. Blow it out, keep it lit. A flame still burns on a candlestick. I don't wanna be here, I don't even think there. Face on my face, gonna wipe all my tears as I get up off my knees, yeah. One wish, one star.
You can overcome anything you put your mind to.
One wish, one star.
If I had one wish, I would do it for you.
One wish, one star.
We could change the world if we really wanted to.
One wish, one star.
We can overcome anything with good or
Amen. That's right. We are victorious. We are even more than conquerors. We're victorious. We're overcomers, you know. And I'm inviting you all to get yourself in some prayer. Our president needs it, you know. I know he's going to sleep well tonight. You know, it's been a pretty rough week. Let's pray a peaceful sleep upon his mind and his body. You know, let's pray strength upon his wife, because you know she's his helpmeet. She's there to comfort him. You know, let's pray that she has the strength to see her role in this historic time through as well. You know, while we can be bucked up and have all our gear on one side, you know, like Obama tried to make it sound like a negative. Man, I don't like that dude. But it's all right to have a Bible and a gun. Okay? But right now it's time to break out the Bibles. It's time to break out in prayer. So, you know, in your own way, however you see fit to do it, let's, you know, give some prayer to our nation, to our president, to everyone who's out there fighting the good fight. That the Lord will provide and make sure everything goes right. And we just keep on keeping on. Now, you know, my man on Trio had something he wanted to say to y'all. I'm going to let him speak it out right quick.
Yes, sir. Hey, this is Josh from our Trio. And go check me out on YouTube. I discuss 3 topics 3 times a week. You are listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn Show. Let's go.
That was our Trio. Has his own show on YouTube. Puts out some pretty good stuff. Thought-evoking situations. And I like the way we interact. And I put that in there after the prayer or the request for prayer, because that's how we must become. We must become interactive. We must become interlaced. White to black, Latino to Asian, Indian to Native Indian. Take all those little identifiers, put them out the way, and let's start getting down to business, y'all. We got to start caring. Okay? So, you know, thank you for sharing this time with me. There's no place I'd rather be. Nothing more I'd rather do than being right here doing this show for you. This is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are out.